I've been testing around the 60 eyes or the fragmented one for some time, and I wanted to share my best run so far and what kind of I don't know I discovered or what's just working for me. I took Octavia. This is not even close to being a cheap build. I just put together the best things I could think of. There are shards to increase ability damage on targets affected by radiation, which he is susceptible to, and that's one of the main damage sources that we use, or the main element of damage. Then there is a shard for shield regen on blast status that surprisingly works with Mallet, because Mallet and Resonator both have a blast as the damage type. Even though we don't see the blast procs, we are gaining the shields. That paired with Arcane Aegis was able to keep me alive, and I didn't feel like in super danger at any time. Let's see. Then for Energy Max, and yeah, the build for Octavia is a partitioned mallet. The boss has a damage cap that he can take, like a maximum amount of damage he can take. So what I tried to do was to get as many damage sources and instances to hit the thing. So Octavia with partitioned mallet. I have a build with Zada's Whisper. I have another with Roar that I'm gonna talk a bit later to deal with the boss. And Zada's Whisper also susceptible to void damage, and that works pretty well with a Fenmore or a Latum. And so the thing was to use Partitioned Mallet, keep the Metronome on, keep Zada's Whisper on, and just use the Fenmore to DPS the boss. That's about it. The Fenmore Radiation build, non-crit. The secondary, I had the Tenet Cyclone, and that is because I tested a build with heat before, stacking heat in a boss, and that is surprising. To be honest, that is surprising. I was able to shave off around 30 seconds consistently from the boss by using heat, stacking heat on the boss. But then the rest of the mission would take longer because I didn't have something as potent to just DPS everything else, because the rest is not, I'm not focusing on stacking heat on everyone else, only really the boss. So that is a kind of a trade. For the melee, I got a Zaw built with radiation to clear some of the mobs, and also to keep dexterity up, which it is a problem at some point during the boss fight because there are no ads the first part, but on the second one it's easier to keep it up. For companion, I took Helios. At first I thought I could make use of his detect vulnerability, but it doesn't seem to do anything for the boss, or at least I just cannot see it. I cannot see a weak point and benefit from that damage, sadly. You could pick whatever you want. For the Sentinel weapon, I've made a build with Viral Heat with the Verglass, and by using Duplex Bond, I was being able to stack only with the Sentinel a pretty good amount of heat. It usually, of course, it depends on how much energy I'm spending and how many clones I'm being able to like deploy and just leave them around the boss. But it was usually around the 400 heat procs, which is pretty good. And yeah, that's about it. As for timers, let me think. I'm usually getting around the 16-minute mark without killing the Void Angel, with some of the fastest runs being around the 15 minutes up to I think this one is 14 minutes and something. And boss time is around this consistent 6 minutes. With a heat build is 5.5, 5:20, 4:25 usually. I was really surprised with the, how the heat was actually working against the boss. I was stacking up to 4k heat procs using the Tenet Cyclone and the Burston Prime Incarnate. But yeah, that's what's going on. I'm not even sure if this is a good time, but it was just the best I could pull off so far. Thinking with my own head, But yeah, is it worth doing this boss, or the hard mode? I have to say that I think that absolutely freaking not. It's a whole lot of extra difficulty, but you don't get extra grotesque splinters, and I'm not even sure if there's any other benefit for if we didn't have the event. I don't think there is. If you would drop like 2 arcanes, then okay, but since it doesn't, you shouldn't really focus this. I just wanted to see if this was something like completely crazy like the Eidolons at first, because when the Plains of Eidolon released, nobody really knew how to deal with the Eidolons, and that it was such a crazy thing to do. And then, of course, eventually the metas rose up, and Eidolons today are something that pretty doable by everyone. Back in the day, it was just crazy. Everyone going in and no one really knowing how to DPS those things and stuff, and that's just what this boss felt to me. Something that we had to just go and find out how to better deal with. I think I've watched one video of a guy using Wukong and getting a pretty good time. I thought that Octavia would work well, and indeed it worked. It did. But if it is the best frame, absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. It was pretty okay. I'm still looking for more ways to increase the damage and everything. But yeah. Hopefully, or who knows? Oh, I was gonna say hopefully they add something more to that. Who knows, another drop, and the hard mode becomes something people actually do to farm something, and then it's relevant. But if not, do it once or how many times you want. Get your Sandali and be happy. That's it. That's gonna be it. Leave it a like, subscribe, and enjoy the rest of the video. Peace.
Till next time.